I was still holding my cardboard box. My security badge was already deactivated. I hadn't even reached the elevator yet when my phone buzzed. It was my manager, the same guy who had just laid me off. And what he said next made me realize they had just fired the only person who knew how their entire product worked. If you've ever been undervalued, talked down to, or treated like you were replaceable, go ahead and hit like right now. Subscribe if you enjoy stories where arrogance meets reality, because this one ends a way that still makes me smile decades later. 25 years ago, I was living in Port Brighton, working for a mid-sized tech firm called North Star Solutions. On paper, it was a dream job. In reality, it was a slow-motion psychological grind. I was the only developer assigned to a brand new mobile application, a massive client-facing product with aggressive deadlines and zero backup. No second developer, no QA team, no technical project manager. Just me and Evan. Evan was my manager, and Evan didn't understand technology. Not a little behind. Not non-technical but supportive. I mean, shockingly, aggressively clueless. He'd ask things like, "Can't you just copy the app from another phone? Why does fixing one bug create another? How long does it take to add, the internet?" Every question felt like proof he had no idea what I actually did. Yet somehow he was in charge of judging my performance. And Evan's priority was never the product. It was making sales happy. It was looking good to executives. It was throwing me under the bus if a deadline slipped. I was working nights, weekends, eating vending machine dinners at my desk. My chest always felt tight. My jaw stayed clenched. I slept with one eye open, mentally debugging code. I kept telling myself, just get through the next checkpoint. Then one Tuesday afternoon, everything stopped. An email popped up. Mandatory all hands, conference room B now. No explanation. When I walked in, every developer was already seated. HR stood at the front. No smiles. No small talk. That's when they said it. Effective immediately. The entire development department was being laid off. Stop working. Pack your things. Turn in your badge. That was it. No warning. No transition plan. No acknowledgement of the app still being half-built. My ears rang. My stomach dropped. I felt two emotions slam into me at once. Panic. I had rent, bills, barely any savings, and relief. Pure, dizzying relief. No more Evan. No more impossible deadlines. No more sacrificing my health for people who didn't care. I grabbed a box, wrote Xbox on the side with a marker, and started packing up my life. That's when Evan appeared. He leaned casually against my cubicle wall. Didn't apologize. Didn't look uncomfortable. He just said, "Hey, so, would you be interested in finishing the app on a contract basis?" I remember blinking at him. I hadn't even left the building yet. They just fired me, and now he wanted me to save them. Part of me wanted to laugh. Part of me wanted to scream. What actually came out of my mouth? Yeah, sure. Shock does weird things to the human brain. Evan nodded, relieved. "I'll talk to upper management and call you." I went home, updated my resume, started applying everywhere. I refused to sit still and wait for a company that had already shown me exactly how disposable I was. A week later, Evan called. He sounded confident. Management had approved a contract. The pay was reasonable. Enough to survive. Enough to buy time. It was a lifeline, and yet something inside me snapped. Before my brain could stop it, my mouth said, "I can't do it for that." Silence. I could practically hear him sweating. Okay, how much would you need?" And then, against every survival instinct I had, double, I froze. I just torpedoed my own safety net. Evan stammered. "Double? That's not going to happen." "No problem," I said. "Let me know." Click. I stared at my phone like it had betrayed me. What had I done? 2 days later, I landed an interview, then another, then one that felt right. Good people, respect, a healthy culture. They practically told me an offer was coming. For the first time in weeks, I slept, then my phone rang. Evan, his voice was bright, excited. You're not going to believe this, but management agreed to double your rate. They really need this app done. I smiled, just a little. Then I said, sorry, Evan, I can't do it. I've got something else lined up. Dead silence. The power had shifted. He didn't argue. He couldn't, because he knew. They had gambled and lost. They fired the only person who knew how everything fit together. And for the first time, they had to face the consequences. The company didn't survive long. Stock collapsed. Delisted. Gone. I stayed at my new job for over a decade. Met lifelong friends. Built real things with people who respected me. And a few weeks later, a friend called. He'd been hired to finish the app. I helped him, not for the company, but because he deserved better than they gave me. Sometimes revenge isn't loud. It's not sabotage. It's not yelling. Sometimes it's simply knowing your worth and refusing to accept less. If this story hit home, hit like, subscribe for more stories where arrogance meets reality. And tell me in the comments, have you ever walked away at the exact moment someone realized they needed you?